For today's exercise, you're called to make a list of 5 things that you feel are limiting you and your beliefs, limiting you and your thought processes. Consider attitude, behaviours, thought processes, emotions, limiting beliefs, in any way that you may actually self-sabotage. And do this with compassion for yourself as well. That is the key here, compassion for self. A loving approach, like guiding a loved one or a friend. So the first pages we're going to be looking at in our shadow work journal today are pages 58 to 59. Then the theme of giving and receiving, which is in line with our following Deepak Chopra meditation today. We're also going to look at the practice of gratitude. Now think of all the things that bring you health, peace and love. List the small and big things in life. After all, simplicity can bring many pleasures. And obviously your relationships with others will come into play. And you may also wish to acknowledge things that potentially brought you pain in the past, but taught you lessons that you carry forward to this day. Let's get into the practice of gratitude. Now, neuroscientist Rick Hanson, he suggests that the brain takes the shape of the state of the mind that we rest upon. So the energy we send out is the energy we also receive. And this is also backed up by Robert Emmons. He's a PhD professor of psychology at the University of California. And he's also the author of the book called The Little Book of Gratitude. And he also states that gratitude is good medicine. So why do these PhD professors believe this? And how does gratitude work? Well, the power of gratitude actually enables us to vibrate at a higher energy level. It raises our vibrations. So people vibrate at a higher level, a higher frequency, and this encourages cellular balance, repair and regeneration. And this in turn encourages you to choose healthier options, whether that's dietary, to optimize your health, prioritize your well-being, and just generally feel more positive day to day. In modern Western society, we are programmed to focus on the negatives, the lack of, instead of the positives, whereas every small win is still a win. And when you adopt a positive growth mindset that's based on gratitude, the practice of gratitude into your life, it has the knock-on effect of changing how you feel. It trains your brain to reprogram its thought processes, reprogram its focus. Therefore, that changes the energy within and changes the energy that you send out into the world. And now, it's not an easy process because challenging our belief systems and changing our limited thought patterns, our limiting beliefs, takes time and practice. It can take 30 to 90 days of daily practice to actually change a habit. And that's what we're changing here, is the habit. These negative limiting beliefs are a habit that we have been programmed into. Welcoming in a consistent state of possibility. And there are actually many scientific studies out there on the practice of gratitude. A study of people with heart failure actually showed positive results. It found that those practicing daily gratitude techniques reported improved sleep patterns, less fatigue, and lower levels of cellular inflammation. There was also a longitudinal study called GRACE, G-R-A-C-E, and that stands for the gratitude research in increased coronary events. And this study actually found that those who practice gratitude daily improved blood vessel function and experienced and had less inflammation. And in another study, patients with chronic pain reported lower depression, anxiety, and improved sleep patterns as well. There was another longitudinal study, and this was a patient with chronic illnesses, such as arthritis, IBS, fibro. There's quite a few listed, and most of them had more than one. And this study found that those patients who were practicing daily gratitude had lower symptoms of depression despite the elevated levels of pain that they were experiencing day to day. A study by Kraus al. in 2017 also stated that daily gratitude practice lowered HbA1c levels, inflammatory markers, and also cancers, which is quite an interesting outcome of that study. Our minds are incredibly powerful. The thoughts we think, the beliefs we hold, and perspectives we adopt through life's experiences. The impact of spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical well-being. If you haven't yet watched the prior linked video on the power of belief, please do so. This would be a good time to do that. But going forward, I ask that each of you write down 3 things that you're grateful for each evening before you go to bed. Moments of gratitude or positive wins throughout the day. And they don't have to be big ones. It can be as simple as taking a few chores off your list. We want to foster a mindset that empowers us, not disempowers us. The key objective of this 21-day process is to change our dominant thought patterns, to overcome our limiting beliefs, and to obviously empower ourselves. And we have to consciously make effort and choose to change this pattern of limiting beliefs that we find ourselves in, our dominant day-to-day thoughts. And this isn't easy as they're programmed into our subconscious. It takes daily, active practice and to encourage new positive patterns to occur. However, just as we were programmed to focus on the negatives, we can actually reprogram ourselves to focus on the positives. And we can even include our children in this practice as well. I like to get my daughter, before I put her to bed at night and tuck her in, to list her 3 daily wins, 3 things that she's most positive about. And that can be anything that she's enjoyed through the day, something she's loved through the day, anything that's really filled her cup, fed her soul and made her happy that day. And this is a way of fostering that growth mindset within our child, that positive mindset. And to prevent them from inheriting our own limited beliefs as well, because that's what happens. That's the process of life. We do that. And if you watch my video on programming the mind, you'll understand that process a bit more clearly as well, and why it's important for us to foster these positive beliefs within our children while they're young. And there are some other strategies that we can incorporate as well to actually help us in this process of reprogramming our dominant thought patterns. For example, the practice of mindfulness. And you need to pay attention to your inner self-talk. And when you do notice these negative thought patterns, just gently refocus your attention to something more positive. It's a process of thought awareness initially. And with time, repetition gradually enables this to become an automatic subconscious process. It becomes second nature. The aim is to replace negativity with something more positive, more fulfilling, something neutral. And when you do actually notice your attention is pulled towards the negative, you can ask yourself some key things to help pull yourself back on track as well. Chaz, is there another way I could look at this situation? What advice would I give to a friend in this situation? With an aim to rebalance your thoughts, always in a self-compassionate manner. We have to keep it rooted in self-compassion. We're actively aiming to change that negative loop that we become stuck in. And in order to do that, it has to be a day-to-day practice. For example, this can include running late for the school run. Instead of focusing on the traffic that's going to prevent you from getting there, because it's always busy that time of the morning, you're going to be bumper to bumper, you're going to hit every traffic light, you're never going to get there on time. Instead, you would reprogram your belief to something more positive. Almost like an affirmation, I guess. Instead, you would say something like, this morning, traffic's going to flow and it's going to be an efficient journey. The message that we send out energetically is important. It is key. You have to expect something different or nothing different will show up. And scientifically, we've already discussed how the power of gratitude has shown to have a positive balancing effect on our well-being. And eventually we'll notice that life begins to flow a bit more freely. And by writing down your wins daily in your journal, you encourage this mindset, you reinforce it, you entrench it. Because we are creatures of habit. We learn things through repetition. And anything counts. Anything that inspires you, fills your cup, brings you that sense of joy, it all counts. Making a habit of noticing and appreciating the good, no matter how minuscule it may seem on the surface, helps to shift your pattern towards the positive. And it helps to counter the brain's negative bias, or programming. And incorporating affirmations into your life helps us with this process further. A good affirmation, repeated like a mantra, helps to reinforce those positive belief systems whilst crowding out the negative belief systems. But changing a habit isn't easy, and doing affirmational practice and gratitude practice, it can feel quite fake at first. You'll probably be arguing with yourself during the process as well. I know I did. However, through repetition, we gradually begin to believe it's real, and it gradually becomes our programming, our new programming. It becomes our autopilot default setting. Our brain, scientifically, doesn't actually know if something's true or not when it first hears it. So think back again to our video on programming the mind. Keep telling yourself these affirmations, this growth mindset, and eventually that repetition takes root. It grows within the mind. But always remember to be compassionate and gentle with yourself through the process. When we're unlearning something, it's all about repetition, self-compassion and understanding. It takes time and practice. Be patient with yourself. And when you choose a more compassionate, positive approach, you are actually rewiring your neural pathways. Shadowwork journey enables us to elevate our thought processes, helping to reframe our dominant thought patterns, aiding us in breaking toxic habits that we are programmed into from a young age. Our upbringing, our culture, society as a whole, all had a part to play. And it's like peeling back the layers of an onion. It takes time. If you keep doing what you've always done, you will stagnate and you won't grow any further. When you want to elevate your mind, you have to process the past, reprogram the future, and elevate the vibration that you send out into the world. We are spiritual, energetic beings having a human experience, and we're not meant to be perfect. We're works in progress, and we can't allow other people's thoughts to hinder our growth. So the aim is to focus on our own thought patterns and our reprogramming. We may not be able to change our past, but we can process it and we can reprogram the future and how we view things, how our brain works. And you can create whichever you want to create. You can be who you want to be. It's all about the power of belief. And small, smart goals can actually help in this process too. We need to move past scarcity mentality, that attitude of there's not enough to go around, that competitiveness, the dog-eat-dog aspect of the world. We also need to move past imposter syndrome, which a lot of us actually have, that victim mentality. And these are all traits we are programmed into by life itself, via our experiences and environment. But you are powerful, our minds are powerful, and words have power, especially the words you say to yourself. By fostering mindfulness, gratitude, conducive environment, a supportive environment, we can enhance our mental clarity and emotional well-being. We are beings with limitless potential for growth, happiness and well-being. So now we're going to turn to page 82. In your childhood, what did you not receive? And this is again in line with our Deepak Chopra exercise. How has this impacted you? And what do you think would be different if you received this? Okay, so they're the thoughts for today, everyone. And I'm going to add the meditation for today on the end of this video. Brightest blessings to you all. And I hope you're all enjoying this 21-day process.